realizes many people
Well, you can edit the thumbnails while it's playing next time. So let's go ahead and let's trigger it. Because the problem is what that did is that triggered a show on all the platforms. Now this is going to be another show. So when that happens,
go again.
You're going to want to re-rack, and then next time just go and then alter it.
So I click go live and go.
Hopefully it'll work. I don't know if the quick back and forth press messed something up.
Okay. Do you want me to update the titles first?
Just let's go. Okay. We can update them. It'll update them.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome in Mississippi Live Weather at 5 at 6 o'clock. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. We'll get that time right. We'll get you worked ahead. Hey, if this is the kind of forecast that we have this week, and it is largely going to be dry and clear, hopefully it's one you can find it. Opportunity to go outside and enjoy. You know, yesterday we were record breaking by a lot in some cases and still quite a bit in a few others. Look at the records from yesterday. As you can see there, 88. I mean, think about that. Tupelo, we were 2 degrees away from the 90-degree point. And obviously, we've transitioned a lot today. We're 16 degrees cooler than yesterday at this exact moment in Tupelo, almost 25 degrees cooler in Jackson, Tennessee. So this is the colder air that is settling into the region. And it's going to be a big part of the story the next couple of days as we're cool, but luckily not necessarily Arctic cold. In fact, we'll actually start working back up here. So some limited showers, a possibility as we go throughout tonight as mostly dry weather continues. Looking forward over the course of this week. We're going to be looking at rainfall accumulations that you could potentially see over the next couple of days here in a couple of minutes. As we do start warming things back up, we know we've got a big series happening on the baseball diamond this weekend. It is, I guess, the baseball egg bowl. What is there a name for it other than that, Gabe? It's
the baseball egg bowl.
It's the battle for Mississippi. It's always the egg bowl, right? At Mississippi State, taking on one another there. In Oxford, we'll have that early look at the forecast, and of course also those SEC football forecasts for midweek games, brought to you by Carl Hogan Toyota. We're 63 at 7 p.m., 54 as we look toward 10 o'clock for tonight. We do have limited chances for a few isolated showers as we go into tonight. Not expecting a lot of meaningful rainfall out of these, but we'll have some sprinkles out there. And really, the next couple of days, that's the story where there's not a lot of meaningful rainfall. We're tracking that in more detail here in a moment. Mama Justice Doppler radar, only a few high, thin clouds out there. Otherwise, we are clear and dry here across most of the southern United States. I'm going to go really wide on our shot here for a moment to show kind of the players. You can see, generally speaking, look at the clouds that we have here. That shows us that generally aloft we have what we call northwest flow, because winds, generally speaking, are kind of going this direction. Still largely kind of going around this high pressure center you see out there in the Pacific. That's sort of still driving traffic as far as cloud cover is concerned. And so with this pattern, you have fronts that move through. They don't produce much precipitation. We have yet another one of those up to the north and west that'll probably fall into the same line as we keep things fairly clear. We're looking at the far extended forecast. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynor kind of breaking that down in more detail here in a couple minutes. But as we kind of drag things in a little bit closer to home, as you can see, our nearest sprinkles even practically up there into Missouri. So a pretty decent distance away from us back to the north and west. As we bring things back in a little bit closer here, a few clouds. And yeah, we do have some of those sprinkles up there toward eastern Tennessee. Watch 3, 4 o'clock in the morning how some of those do start to slip down here closer to Huntsville and Gadsden and up there north of Atlanta. That's about as good as some rainfall chances get for us overnight. Not very good, obviously. We do show this little batch out here toward Arkansas for tomorrow morning. The wave producing that will try to bring us some sprinkles by late tomorrow night and early Wednesday morning. And even then, Under-impressive on the amounts of precipitation that we're looking at there. Again, we'll look at some of those rainfall totals coming up here in a couple of minutes. So from 46 in the morning, we're 50 degrees as we look toward around 9 a.m., 62 by noontime, and 69 by 3 p.m. Again, mostly clear skies out there. The partly cloudy skies, just not going to produce a lot of rainfall out of what we see. But in the morning, not an impossibility to have a couple of those showers. Another 10% showing up there by late tomorrow evening. Again, let's talk about 10% coverage on that. That means pretty much 90% of us probably not seeing hardly anything at all. Coming up here in 60 seconds, again, we'll look at some cameras around the region. We'll take a listen to what you're interested in talking about this evening, and we will look at some of those rainfall accumulations as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center in 60 seconds. We'll hope you'll stick with us.
When C.K. Little opened his doors in downtown Corinth nearly 80 years ago, his plan was simple: deliver excellent service and exceed expectations. That's why we say a little gift goes a long way.
After a storm, the damage is not always obvious. And if it's not documented correctly, it can cost you. With a decade of experience, we know exactly what to look for. We handle the inspection, claim support, and the roof. Storm season is coming. Make sure you have absolute restoration on your side.
I have been going to Two Place Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Two Place Smiles.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Some strong north winds today certainly helped to fan the flames on any of those controlled burns, hopefully not taking them uncontrolled out there. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather, and we're looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar. The green you see here, what we a lot of times call clear air returns, but if you look closely from time to time, you can see kind of a point there where you have something like right there north of Tupelo, little lines that show up. Sometimes that can be boundaries where just there's a little convergence where there are bugs. Other times, from time to time, that can be a sign of smoke plumes out there, something that we obviously want to try to avoid because the pattern remains pretty dry. As we look at drought conditions across the region, drought monitor, as we talked about last week with Gabe, we are at a level 4 out of 5 for some spots for southeast of Clarksdale there, back south of Tallahatchie County there in particular toward Yalobusha County, a little portion of that as well, which goes in line with the fact that we do have deficits. I'll switch to our color table here, but over the last 30 days, in some cases, that rainfall deficit up there at 1 to 2 inches, not extreme, but still significant considering this should typically be the time of the year where we don't have, drought conditions, or at least drought conditions have hopefully gotten a little better. This is looking at fire and smoke here. As you can see, generally you've probably seen the haziness out there. This is an exclusive product to us here in Mississippi Live Weather. It shows where we have had some fires around over the last few days. As you can see from today, a couple of those down there, southern Oktibbeha County, back out here toward Grenada County. We've had others that were more significant over the last couple of days here as well. So just wanting to make sure to watch those wildfires, make sure they don't become something to get out of control here, because unfortunately when they do, it takes firefighters a long time to try to get things back there. So certainly we had some issues with that today, and hopefully we don't have any more going forward. Rainfall though, if you're hoping for meaningful rainfall here, I have this tuned where we're looking at really above 1/100 of an inch. See, even with the light rain chances we expect overnight and into early tomorrow, not expecting much. I'm going to retune this for our latest version of the HRRR, which was a little bit more aggressive on what it was producing, but even then, the kind of best case scenario there. And it's not kicking out even anything on that. So that to say, if you're hoping for meaningful rainfall, Mother Nature doesn't really have much there in it, at least not the next couple of days. I think eventually the chances will get a little bit better. Gabe's looking at the far extended forecast coming up here in a few minutes. 67 in Clarksdale right now, that mix of cloud cover showing up out there at this time, looking across North Mississippi. Appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Again, our partners here with all of these cameras. Winona was 73, and that sun looking bright there, and that guy wire right in the way, I think, affecting. Look at that. It looks like it must have a spider web there as well, somewhere ahead of that. I think that's what that's kind of bouncing around. The bug's enjoying the breeze. North winds at 12 miles per hour there in Winona, and coming in Tupelo at 67. Again, appreciate the good folks there at Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling for sponsoring our Tupelo camera. Bounce it around. It has been windy. That plus the low humidity helping to enhance that fire danger that we have had for today. So Futurecast, again, keeping those northerly winds kind of coming in. We're still on the backside of this front that brought us the cooler temperatures today. Again, 15 to 25 degrees cooler than yesterday, and those northeast winds part of that. There's that moisture up there to the north of us, up closer to, say, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Jackson, Tennessee. We're looking here 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's where we have a little bit of moisture getting somewhat close to us, and we kind of dig into this. It's not impossible to get some sprinkles down to the ground level, but I wouldn't expect them much. We're going about 49 in Cleveland, 51 degrees Belzona, 50 in Greenwood, versus 44 in Bruce and Houston, about 46. That is right what we typically expect for this time of year, around 46 degrees. So those mid-40s, not something that's too unexpected in this situation here. In wind chill temperatures, we'll go 45 there in Clarksville, 49 degrees in Grenada, about 45 in Houston, 42 Tupelo. So bundle those kids up tomorrow morning. That school bus forecast brought to you by IMPC. After starting 46, it is layers, and that's sometimes difficult to get nailed down exactly. You're going to have a long enough layer because it'll be a little chilly at the bus stop for a while. And in the afternoon, 69, less breezy than today. And so because of that, temperatures feel similar, maybe even a little bit warmer in some spots, despite the fact that I think the high temperature might be a degree or so cooler than it was for today. Less wind, or hopefully a little bit less wind, making a difference there. East winds, notice that direction there, providing a few little sprinkles. Again, this is about as light as our Futurecast should show here. But we continue to shift that a little more southeast as we go through the day, eventually starting to bring a little bit more moisture up. But we keep the cloud cover fairly widespread Tuesday at 3, 4, 5 o'clock, with the first sprinkles starting to show up West Helena, back out there to near Greenville. More on that here in a moment. But with those slight chances for a little bit of moisture there, that's why temperatures are slightly cooler. Clarksdale at 65, 66 Cleveland versus 71 Greenwood. Kosciuszko at 73. 71 Louisville and Macon, and normal's about 69, so right there, exactly what we pretty much expect for that for this time of the year. SEC baseball forecast, Ole Miss and Memphis up there in Memphis, 6 p.m. first pitch there. Again, appreciate Carl Hogan Toyota for sponsoring our SEC baseball forecast. We're 66 at first pitch, 63 by the fourth inning, and probably in the upper 50s by the conclusion of the game under what should be a mix of clouds and sun. As we look toward Mississippi State and Southern Miss, we're expecting that to again be pretty nice there in Starkville for a midweek game. Tuesday, 6 p.m. first pitch there was 70 at the first pitch. I mean, in a lot of ways, obviously it was really hot this last weekend. Maybe a little bit cool by the end of the game there at the final out. Limited chance to see a couple sprinkles. We're not expecting much. Let's track that using our Futurecast here. That does show a couple of those sprinkles, 8, 9 o'clock. Trying to cross the Mississippi-Arkansas state line. We're looking at that. These are all pretty small and rather unimpressive. When your biggest shower, your heaviest shower there is 6, 7 miles wide, that tells you there's not a lot of work off of there. Not a lot of meaningful moisture, at least. So just this weak little wave sort of sliding through late tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. Notice how it does show up with a few more bits of green, a little bit heavier as we get closer to, say, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, early Wednesday morning there. You can see a little more moderate rainfall, but even then that's probably pushing it. Don't expect a lot of this to add up to more than sprinkles on the windshield there. 4:35, 6 o'clock. Meteorologist Maggie McCauley, she'll be looking at the latest there on Mama Justice Doppler radar. And of course, that's always available in the Mississippi Live Weather app as well. Not just our stream there, but of course, right below the stream, we have the radar right there at the top. And appreciate Mama Justice for sponsoring us here on Mississippi Live Weather. We're 51 in Tupelo, 50 degrees to begin the day early Wednesday morning. Everybody above that 46 we typically would expect for this time of year for Wednesday to start the day. As we progress throughout your Wednesday, by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, more moderate rainfall in a couple of spots. And Futurecast here has from time to time, as we go into the afternoon, had maybe 1 or 2 of these that just get a little bit heavier there. You can see that one near Winona, also the one here closer to Bruce. But even still, at 3, 4, even toward around 4:30 or so, We see a little yellow. Yeah, that's somewhat heavier, but this probably doesn't add up to much in the rain gauge. I'll look at the strike models rainfall accumulation here in a minute. We'll kind of pull that up as that kind of wobbles out of here. So 80 in Houston, 83 degrees high temperature there in Eupora, 69 our normal, so well above that, but not quite to that 86 record. We'll be closer to that by Thursday, but I think even then, as we talked about at 5 o'clock, probably end up just a little bit below that, 84 Greenwood and Belzona. So here's strike, again, showing a few showers there. Aberdeen moving up closer to, say, Red Bay by around 9 p.m. Wednesday evening. And then after that's gone, those kind of dissipate somewhat. We have those southerly winds kind of prepping things in advance of our next front that you can see all the way up there toward Minneapolis. And this one actually will make it down here. Let's go on the wide shot to show that kind of sweeping a little closer to us. Ahead of that, all these clouds, that's moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. So if you could get enough, I don't think we're going to necessarily have enough, that would be something that would help us try to generate some showers. But you'll notice how even the clouds there start dissipating because that moisture is not thick enough, not significant enough there as it gets closer. So yes, we have a front coming in, but I think we're still far enough behind that there that we're warm to arguably somewhat hot by Thursday afternoon. Speaking of those highs Thursday, I mean, I think hot technically doesn't kick in until we're 90s, but you won't want to be wearing long sleeves Thursday afternoon. We're 87 in Greenwood, 88 degrees in Grenada, Eupora, and Starkville coming around 88. Record's 89. We're forecasting 86 to below 88 in Houston. So while not an official record break, at least not in our opinion yet, we're close enough that it would not at all be shocking if we get a little later this week and we're like, yep, we got to turn it up that extra notch there as well. So looking toward SEC baseball forecast, and this is the one I think everybody's interested in going into this upcoming weekend, and that's going to be Ole Miss and Mississippi State there. Just excited for this game and appreciate Carl Hogan Toyota for sponsoring our SEC baseball forecast there, but I'll bring that back on the screen again here. That one is expected to be pretty nice, all things considered. 78 degrees Friday, high temperature there. We're 65 Saturday, 73 for Sunday. Again, this one in Oxford, a home game for Ole Miss, and we'll see. Should be a pretty good battle there with the way both teams are playing. Agree, Gabe? I'm waiting for my early prediction from Gabe Maynor. You come over here so they can hear you. Okay.
Okay. Mississippi State. I was talking to my friend about that this year. They were like, football, you guys were unimpressive. I was like, well, baseball, we're a baseball school. 16 for a reason. I expect that to show out this week.
Do you think you'll win?
I do. We've not had a lot of victories.
So I have to pick Ole Miss just so that I can win a bet?
No, my wife will cover that for us, so don't worry. So I think we'll be good on the Ole Miss front.
Okay.
So it'll be a good game, though. We're going to try to get some coverage out there Friday night, still working that out, but hopefully getting some eyes out there at Swayze Field.
To be excited. Very excited.
Good time.
Okay, and we'll talk to you here in a minute about that far extended forecast, right?
Yes,
you got some stuff pulled up? Okay, we'll talk to Gabe coming up after the break about that. Let's get you 7-day forecast here. As we look here over the next few days, 86, again, near a record high on Thursday. Cooler for Friday, and that looks like we're looking pretty nice there for our high school game of the week presented by Casey Lott. You're going to be doing some of the solidifying of that over the next 24 hours. We get the vote up and going there. We're excited to see where we're heading again this week. 67 by Saturday. Again, this is behind that front we were showing you, the one up north. Just doesn't have much moisture to work with. So the rain chance is not zero, but it's not particularly impressive. Looking towards Saturday at 67, 72 as we go towards Sunday. All things considered, some beautiful weather upcoming as we look toward this next weekend. Okay, coming up here in 60 seconds, we're going to talk to our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, about the latest on our pattern. Again, hoping for a little bit of rainfall. When can Professor Positive, what do we call it? Professor Possible. Professor Impossible. I don't know. Whatever it is, he's going to pontificate and, I don't know, just talk about it after this.
Feeling lucky? Shop the Lucky 7 sale at Room to Room and get an extra 7% off our lowest already marked down prices. Plus $77 art, $7.99 hot buys, and 12 months special financing. Find your lucky deal today at Room to Room Tupelo.
Look at Wanda, ready to rock her big presentation. But first, lunch. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Delicious, celebratory, but is it quick? The Cobb salad. Tender oven-roasted chicken, topped with cheese. Prepared, plated, and served? In 6 minutes? Is this for real? Well, of course. Well done, Wanda. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Yes, ma'am. life is sweet.
Feeling lucky? Shop the Lucky 7 sale at Room to Room and get an extra 7% off our lowest already marked down prices. Plus $77 art, $7.99 hot buys, and 12 months special financing. Find your lucky deal today at Room to Room Tupelo.
Well, there's a look at your 7-day forecast, and you see the minimal rain chances. I know only the 20s showing up, but there's a few 10s mixing in, and that's what we're going to be going over here in the Room to Room Weather Centers, a little bit more breaking down those rain chances. And let me say this, there's a lot of back and forth, meaning that some trends are in the positive direction, other trends are in the not so positive, I'll say. And we start with the immediate outlook, and as we take a look at those rain chances for our overnight forecast and into our into our Tuesday, you can see right there, there's where some of those DBZs are popping up that Matt was mentioning. Might have a little bit more activity out there towards Alabama, but those DBZs more minimal, basically meaning it's not going to be heavy. DBZs, the brighter they are, it's those colors that show up, that's showing some heavier rainfall. Now what I want to do is take you back run after run, because one of the things that our meteorologist Maggie McCauley and meteorologist Caleb Edelblut were going over the past 24 to 36 hours was that these are frustrating. Let's go back one model run, and that's not too bad. Positioning still out there towards northwest Mississippi into eastern Arkansas. Let's go back one more run. Look at the difference, the positioning. And again, this is our short range model, which has a little bit of that higher resolution, but the fact that we're looking at 10 counties difference in the positioning shows us that this limited rain potential is going to have some counties that miss out on the rainfall and other counties that get I'm going to say decent output, but better outputs than others. It's still not going to be anything overly impressive. And even the model run before that. So it was showing consistencies that there were trying to be some showers at 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, not exactly showing much. And that's seen with our positioning with our reflectivity, but it's also seen on our positioning with rainfall totals. So as of right now, you can see the heavier rainfall totals out there towards the Atlantic. That is expected to happen. Whereas here, if I wave my mouse over that and show some of those totals, few hundreds here and there. Well, let's go back over the past, again, 24 hours. You can see model run after model run. This one's still positioning it towards eastern Arkansas. But while it's not a ton, we would still take any amount of rainfall that we can get. Unfortunately, how things have trended, and this is, again, starting at 00 or 6 p.m. on our Sunday, and then making our way into the forecast for now. That is a drastic change and a drastic difference. Big reason why, whenever we enter this type of atmospheric setup, this is what we'd call a short wave. It's not necessarily a full-blown system that's moving into North Mississippi where you're changing the timing by a couple of hours, but you're still expecting some big impacts. Impacts are going to remain very minimal, and that's where whenever the short wave moves in, its positioning can vary, and thus impacts can vary as well. So as I drag this out, you can kind of see that we have this subtle disturbance right there that'll begin to move into the area. And whenever we're talking shortwave, it's basically these little waves that begin to develop. Not a full-blown trough, because there's your trough, but it is still a little miniature trough, we can call it. And that has enough energy to where it could produce a few showers, and hence what we're getting Tuesday.
Okay, this is all garbage. Tell me when it's gonna rain. Just give me some hope here, Gabe. Well, when is the next excuse for legitimate rain?
Let's track it together. So as you can see,
ridge,
that
right?
is a dominant ridge that is going to be sticking with us.
This is summertime. This is a huge ridge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not ridge meaning high pressure, and high pressure, as you guys have heard us mention over and over and over again.
Like this is where the active weather is up there.
Yes, and so that's where we expect it to be.
We're right
this is
here,
Thursday afternoon.
Keep on going.
Potentially moving into Friday. And this is where
so maybe a little something Friday.
That's the trough that might give us, again, a few light showers. This is going to be
give me something more real.
Okay.
Let's give the people something more real. Nothing. Hold on. That looks interesting. We have a couple little waves there, right? That's a little wave. When is this?
This is going to be next Tuesday.
So we're 8 days out?
Yep.
Okay, so is this kicking out anything for next Tuesday?
Rain chances not high, but they're around 20 to 30%, which is the highest of our next 8-day forecast.
Okay, so let's see. Where do I have something more substantial than that?
Probably not until
whatever this
I would say right
major
there.
Pattern shift is.
Yes, and there's your front that will start to move in, and I think that.
So go back a couple there. So this is that early April. So right now we're looking here like. Not Thursday this week, but a week from Thursday, another bigger system coming in. So we're still 10 days-ish out from the next kind of major sort of change that could bring us some rainfall.
And you know it's 10 days out, right? Well, April Fools too.
Oh yeah.
So is it our models playing an April Fool's joke on us, or is it actually going to happen? And that's where Professor Possible comes into play, because there's still answers.
But admittedly, there has been a pretty substantial trough in the extended
Yes.
forecast showing up for weeks.
Yes, right at the start of April.
Yeah, right somewhere at the start of April, give or take a few days. This is April 2nd. Let's keep going through this. So this shows us where this would get lined up and loaded up right there. This would be somewhere either April 2nd, April 3rd. That's loaded up with a pretty sharp, negatively tilted trough. This will be storms either on the plains, potentially for us, depending on how that loads up. But that's still a long ways away, right?
Yeah, and there's always going to be variability too. So the positioning on this, I think, whenever we first got some of those model runs introducing it, it was showing that it was more April 1st. Well, now it's kind of changed a day or two back. So the positioning on it is going to be something that varies as we go over the next couple of weeks. But like Matt was saying, it does have a little bit more of those consistencies. So that's our next significant weather maker in regards to some of those potential showers and heavy rainfall. But yeah.
Can I go left and right on this?
You have to click the, no. So go, we took it out of it.
You take it.
You're the College of DuPage.
Yep, I don't do, okay.
There you go. So now you can mouse it. Yeah, that.
So let's get it all the way to current time period. Take it a second to kind of catch up. Because what I want to see on the wide shot here, I want to backtrack this system. So
It's struggling today. I don't know why.
I know. Oh, a lot of this isn't on our end. There are a lot of these sites. When someone's like, "I want to make a model site," they just start it and have to have the bandwidth to power it. Trust me, that's something I've learned. Okay, so there's our system. There it is. Long wave trough. There's kind of the short wave with it, all the way up there to Alaska. And so this would be a week from today, where that is, meaning, okay, so a week from today, we're going to see if, can I do global on this? Let's do my viewpoint here. Will it do global? Northern Hemisphere. Yeah.
You just taught me something. Maybe you're the
There we
pivotal
go.
pro.
We're going to always have, okay. Catch this up to the current time. A moment here. And you can join the conversation there. I'll pop up the chat for a moment while we're waiting for that to populate all the stuff in. Oh, where we at, Fox?
Which I'll say now, this is showing you that our rain chances are not impressive.
Yeah,
if this is anything.
If we're digging this deep. Okay. So,
You got to click that, yeah.
okay, so here we are. Okay, so this is it right there. That's that 10, 12 day out rain chance, right? At least a portion of it's there and a portion of it's back there. So right now, as you can see, that is somewhere on basically the other side of the world, right?
The Asian.
Yeah, somewhere over there in Asia, that's Japan, so that's Russia. So our next rain chance is in Russia.
Mother Russia.
That's how, meaningful, not just sprinkles, decent, legitimate storm and rain chance. So we expect that things are going to change a lot between then and now, but gotta look a long, long ways away.
Well, and hopefully it does still allow Easter plans to get done. That's my only caveat with rain chances is I hate when it falls on a holiday. But I don't think anyone would complain in this aspect because we do need that rainfall still so desperately.
Yeah, this is how far out we are. I see it right there at the bottom, right there. Watch it. That thing. Wait. Hey, that's all the way around the world. Partially that trough there. Way up there.
Golly.
Right. So where are we at? Saudi Arabia? Afghanistan, maybe?
Too far.
Yeah, it might be closer to us than it is. That might be how far it is on the other side of the world. Way over there. So, needless to say, things will change, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. We need some rainfall. Hey, appreciate y'all over there in the comments, for watching us and like and subscribe the whole thing.
Yes, and as we look at that 7-day forecast once again, rainfall going to be hard to come by. So if you've already planted those gardens, maybe get out there and water them over the next couple of days. Get that foundation built and make sure they're all getting their hydration that they need. And same thing with your pets that are outside, a little bit warmer over the next couple of days to make sure they have their water as well. As we take a look at that schedule, I will be live with you guys tonight at 10 o'clock, live from the Room to Room Weather Center with the very latest on what you need to know. With that extended pattern, while it is dry, or mostly dry, we do still have a few rain chances. Who's getting it? Where is it lining up? We're walking county by county at 10 o'clock. And don't miss out on our morning show. Meteorologist Maggie McCauley taking us through the latest for those morning shows at 6:30, 7, and 7:30. We'll see you there, 10, and during your Tuesday morning here for Mississippi Live Weather.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious when he began to discover weather. Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.